Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Huh? So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
If you're a fan of comic books and comic book conventions, Daytona Beach Comic Con needs to be on your list of must-attend events. It's a show that actually focuses on comic books. Imagine that! This year's event is happening on Saturday, September the 6th, and Sunday, September the 7th. Silverline creators will be there, so we'll see you at the show. There's a new convention in town, and it's sure to be mega fun without the mega expense. Comics, toys, collectibles, pop culture. ShadowCon, Saturday, February 1st, 2025 in Orlando, Florida. Silverline creators will be there, so we'll see you at the show. If you find yourself in the Orlando area, and let's be honest, doesn't everyone come to Orlando for the House of Mouse? Head over to Coliseum of Comics to get your comic book fix. Be sure to check out their location on East Colonial Drive, where they carry a wide selection of independent comics, including Silverline books. Stop by and don't forget to tell them Silverline sent you. Hey, if you're an independent comic creator looking to get your comic printed, look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our comics and do a fantastic job. They can even print special edition covers. When you reach out to them, be sure to tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
Hi, I'm Barb Kelber, co-host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham. Join us each Wednesday nights as we discuss comics, literature, movies, and anything else that may catch our attention.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Hello. I see we finally figured out our glitch.
It now says Wednesday on Wednesday. Yes.
Yes, it does.
Conspiracy theorists are hiding in their bunkers.
Yep, we figured it out. And it was something we were doing wrong. It wasn't a conspiracy, unfortunately. So
That's what you say.
Yep. Well, welcome. Well, I'm going to have another conspiracy show coming up in a few months, so we'll talk about some more of that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it then.
Yeah.
Oh.
Welcome everybody to Wednesday Wham. I am your hostess for tonight, Barbara Kelberg. Long-time, decades-long inker. Only been a colorist for the last 6. The creator of Divinity and the CFO of Silverline.
It looks like you're trying to slap somebody.
Yeah.
Martin.
Is it my turn? Okay, well, all right, I get to go this week. Okay, so I'm the colorist for Wolf Hunter 1 and 2. We have seen the letters put into book number 2, and it looks fantastic, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And that's me. I do colors for Silverline and the odd project on the side. So, yeah. How about we go down here?
How odd are they?
Odd.
All right, I am Kasisi Harris. You can call me Kaz, a writer here at Silverline. Been writing for all of 2 minutes in my life. No, not a lot of time, but penned an issue of Trump's in the Christmas issue for Silverline, and then also wrote the Silverline Team of Volume 2 that's coming out with Miss Fury and Tempest, and a new character that we won't talk about. All right, but that's me. So what about you?
And as it says right there, I'm Rob Davis. I'm the artist on Twilight Grim for Silverline. And I've been in the industry about as long as Barb has, maybe a year earlier, maybe a year later. who knows? Working on characters as ancient as Merlin and as futuristic as Captain Kirk, and all kinds of stuff in between. And mostly as a penciler, but I've also been in a letterer and an inker. But I feel my strength is in penciling. Thanks.
Yes.
Thank
Now-
you. I appreciate that.
Before we move on tonight, we already have our first question.
Nope.
How do you add letter bubbles to your physical comic book pages? Now there are
I don't know. I don't put bubbles on mine. I put balloons.
there no if you
I'm sorry. I had
if you're
to do that.
penciling it yourself, you want to block out and do the balloons as you're penciling them so that and inking them so that you already have them there. Also, back in the day, in the old days, I actually have one of these still hanging around. I have a
I
waxer.
do too somewhere.
Yeah, but what? Sorry.
Ames lettering guide.
I have
Yeah.
a hot waxer. Where,
hot
that,
waxer.
Yeah.
where you would actually physically cut out the balloon. You would lay a layer of hot wax on the back and put it on the paper.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Afterwards, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
old school.
That's why when you find so like art pages, I've got an old Alan Davis one where not every balloon is pasted over, but about half of them are, and you can almost kind of see the artwork behind them, and that's one of the ways it was done.
Do you guys have any other advice for physical? Okay.
Yes. So block out your balloons in the panels, and then the other trick that does, it also gives you less to draw. So because you're hiding stuff behind the you leave room for your words.
Like I did.
You need to block out how much you're going to space it out. Then you use the Ames guide. You need to figure out how tall your letters need to be in your live art, so that when they shrink it down, that they're going to end up maintaining the ratio and not be too small when you finally get it printed. So because you're going to scale it
online, there are places that have that letterers have put that stuff up there and just experiment around. Yours may
how
be
do
a
you
little
add
different from what
fonts
they
to
do.
letter balloons?
You mean by hand? You got to do it by
You got to handwrite your letters. But if you're going to if you do it by computer, well then you if you're using
Just put them on a layer.
Unless you like, do they still have those lettering sheets where you can like scribble the letter onto like?
Oh, you mean
letter set or something?
Yeah, letter set transfer lettering.
But that's a
please
nightmare.
Don't do that.
No.
That is you're better off. You're better off doing
Okay.
it by hand.
Well, there is one other option that is available to you, and that is that you can if you want to use comic fonts that are digital, because they exist on your computer and it's easier to type. You can type them out into the balloon into the size that you want them to be and shape it on the computer, print it, cut it out, paste it on the page.
Yeah, I have done that.
So that's your other option.
I actually did that when I inked and lettered Badger for Mike Barron.
Right.
Really?
So
wow. I didn't realize. I'd forgotten you lettered that too.
That's the only time I've ever lettered.
Yeah.
For good reason.
Yeah, so that's your only other option, unless you want to do it by like actually, come up with your own handwriting comic font. That's your on a physical page. So, but if you're going, you just make sure your letters are big enough on the page. So you probably want them. What point size do you usually end up having them in the final print? 8 to 10 point. Is that the final print size?
I do full size and use 12 point, but then that gets reduced.
Right. So it's reduced. It's reduced by 60.
It's about 8, anywhere between 8 and 10.
Yes.
Points. Yeah.
Right. So letter it at 12 points, and then it reduces down to
at full size art.
At full size.
By 17 art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it reduces down to 8 to 10.
Yep.
All right. We got a show to do.
Approximate.
Yep.
Before we jump into our topic tonight, I want to remind everyone that we have got, as you can see in our message board here, we have got a GoFundMe going. Or Fund My Comic for Cat and Mouse Vipers.
And congrats, they made their goal.
They've made their goal, but you can still get in on all the fun, and they're working towards stretch goals now, which are going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
So jump on board. We would definitely appreciate.
There's some cool stuff. Go to the site and see what kind of cool stuff will happen if we get to those stretch goals, because there's some pretty cool stuff there. And there's a little bit of original art left too. When I looked earlier today, there's 1 or 2 pieces left. I think Tommy Floramonte's inking of one of the covers is still available, and I'm stunned
that it's still
gorgeous.
There.
I'm stunned it's still there because it's gorgeous. So go over there and snatch it before somebody else does.
Also,
open up another window while you're watching this. But
Also, Cat and Mouse #1, the original that started this iteration of Silverline Comics, and Divinity #1 are both available in previews this month. So ask your retailer.
I've forgotten that.
So ask your retailer to order for you. Yep, I've done that. I wasn't very good at it, but I've done it.
Yeah, it takes a really sharp X-Acto knife.
Yes. All righty. Tonight's topic, we are going to discuss what works and what doesn't work in highly detailed pages.
Highly rendered, yeah.
I've got a lot of examples, and I am not mentioning any names because some of these are very well-known artists. And I'm not trying to degrade anybody or anything like that. But because art is subjective.
It's subjective. I was going to say that. You beat into it. Yep.
Art is very subjective. So. What I think may be too busy, you might think is the cat's meow. I mean, you may be, that's like the best piece of art I've ever seen,
Yeah, some fans love really highly rendered art. Lots of little details and stuff. And that drives me a little nuts. It doesn't take much to push me over the edge. So into complete nuttiness. So I don't know.
We're going to look at a variety of pages, and we're going to look at very detailed pages, and some of them are going to work perfectly.
Yeah.
No matter how detailed they are. And other ones, you're going to say, what is going on here? And that is what you don't want. You don't want to get pulled out of the story by going, I don't understand what's going on here. That's bad news. So we're going to start out. This is a 2-page.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is 2 pages in a comic book. And I can't tell what's going on.
No, oh no. The only thing that might help would be if it was colored.
That would
change it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but in black and white, it's
wow.
It's just a gray
bunch of noodly wiggly lines.
Yeah,
it's hard because you almost don't want to read the words because there's so much going on. Like you're spending so much.
Are there words on those pages?
Right.
I mean, they're kind of lost in all the other stuff. So and it's I think the biggest problem, if I could be, is that the line weight is the same on everything. It's all about the same weight.
Very
thickness. I mean thickness by that when I say weight.
Right.
There's a slight variation, but almost everything's got the same thickness of the line around it, and that you can't read that sort of thing. It just kind of flattens everything out.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is intended for color because.
Oh, you think so?
Look, this is straight from the book.
I understand that, but the art style is intended for color, so but you definitely need to spot more.
It needs gray tones or something to.
Yeah, you need to spot more blacks.
Help it out. Yeah,
or more blacks, something. So
or a bit more variation in the line weight. So that the lighter stuff will go toward the back, the lighter lines, and the heavier lines will come toward the front. Then you need some of that in order to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So for me,
But it's
this one doesn't work.
Yeah. But it's consistent art.
Yeah.
Cassisi, did you want to say something?
No, I was asking. What did you said for you? It doesn't work, right? Is that what you
Right.
said? Okay, yeah.
Hey,
Pops.
Hey, Pops.
Hey-o.
Yeah, I
All right.
agree. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Okay, here's okay. I'm if you see me leaning in and my hand towards it, that means I'm going on my iPad to blow it up so I can see more details.
I have to lean forward too. I wish we could make it bigger, but we can't.
I'd need a bigger screen.
This is this is a perfect example of too many bricks. It's beautiful.
Yes, it almost works.
Almost works. If they would have done a heavy outline around Batman and the statue and set it apart from the background,
or a white line around it all around Batman,
and I'm
would have made him pop off.
Or maybe the cape, if the cape didn't have all that detail in it, so that I could see
that too.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Yeah, if it would have, if the cape would have been left strictly white. Yeah. And David says it requires color, and that's true. I'm sure that when this was colored, it was colored in such a way that it made the front come out, pop out, and the back fade.
I could see again. This one could be saved with color, big time. But black and white, it doesn't work. And
so
that doesn't work for me because I've always been taught when I was learning how to do comics is it should read as well in black and white as it does when it's colored. That's I've always that's been pounded into me like crazy. It should read well in the black and white version, and sometimes even better than it does when it's colored. So, but that's old fashioned. That's old fashioned stuff.
Yeah, actually, before all that color stuff.
This is so weird because I really want to like this one a lot.
Yeah,
everything at the bottom gets so lost. You know, like you want to appreciate it, but
I can. And after what David said about the color holds, I could see the folds and stuff in the cape being a color hold, being the color of a darker shade of whatever the cape inside is made out of.
But when you start relying on color to save your artwork, that's a step in the wrong direction.
It is. But
but I know
man, how much time did this guy have?
Well, did he ink his own stuff, or was this did somebody come in and ink all this? And if so, some of this may have been added by the inker. You know, it's quite possible. Some of it was. I doubt it, but it could have been.
Yeah, I don't think every single window needed to be done. You know, and especially around Batman. Drop a few of the window details around Batman to make him pop out a little bit.
I'm very curious. I would love to see this piece in real life, though, because I'm wondering if the digital kind of in the size of it kind of also diminishes the.
It could be. So that's why I keep
in real life it might end up being like just absolutely like out of this world. But
it's also got a lot of noodling on like Batman's arms and legs that really doesn't need to be there. It's just, it's a lot of extra, as Barb calls it and I call it, noodling. It's just, all this that doesn't really
detail that really
it doesn't help the form. Doesn't help the form of it. Just kind of.
I know they're trying to they're probably trying to go for a Bernie Wrightsman look, but. Unless you're Bernie Wrightson, you can't pull that off very easily.
I would love to after the show. Tell me who the artist is. I would love to go look this guy up.
I would have to look him up because I cropped all of these so that you couldn't see who they were.
And we're not denigrating this artist.
Yeah, no.
This is a great panel.
Look, the art is fantastic.
I love the layout of it. How those buildings kind of help bring
beautiful
you in.
layout.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. But I think the inker could have helped him a little.
Yeah, so the only thing I would do is is that a griffin or whatever that thing is in the front there with the wings?
Yeah, it just kind of It just kind of
So
obliterates, doesn't it?
the fact that's kind of merging into the buildings is what's driving me nuts. So
Yeah,
like if there
yeah.
was a way to either darken the buildings
Again.
behind it so that pops out or lighten that, or that's where I would have gone. But
Well,
that's
it's like I said earlier, when you're trying to
Yeah.
bring things forward, a thicker line around it
Yeah.
brings it forward, and a lighter line around it or in it pushes it toward the back.
Either a
So-
white outline or bolden the lines around Batman and the statue. And I would
And
have
the
done the
statue.
I would have done the statue wings in complete black and taken all the noodly out of the
Mhm.
cape and left it completely white.
Yeah, the
Yep.
cape completely white would have worked, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I think, yeah.
That's
I
just my
still
own-
want to see.
Again-
I still want to see it
again,
in real life.
Again,
just-
it's a nice piece, but
Yeah.
there are things about it that doesn't quite work.
That's just my own personal opinion
Yeah.
and 35 years of inking, but what do I know?
But kudos to you, whoever you are to
Yeah,
do this
but-
art. My goodness, the
And I
patience
never
that you
got
had.
hired to draw Batman, so I can't talk. Whoever this, I hope that's a
Oh,
real thing.
Yeah, no.
Mhm. Oh my.
This had to be meant for color. Like this,
Yeah.
there's
Well, that looks like, yeah, it's almost I've seen a Jack Kirby piece that's has this similar pose,
Mhm.
so I'm wondering if it's kind of based on that.
I think if
mean,
it weren't for the rain, it
Mm.
wouldn't be so bad.
No,
There's
just-
every brick.
just yeah, no, there's just everything blends into everything else. You can't tell what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, whoever's got the fantastic structure in their art.
Oh yeah, I mean he's got the.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful layout. It's a beautiful pose and everything like that.
Mm.
But if you're going to have the rain in there like that, for one thing, I probably would have done pulled a Bill Reinhardt and made the background much darker, and then done white lines for the rain instead
Yeah.
of doing black lines for the rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, this one, yeah, and the characters especially in the foreground, the Spider-Man especially, needs a heavier line around it to get it to pop out
Right.
toward you. It's got some heavier blacks in it, but it doesn't help define the form. It just kind of, yeah.
So this is kind of what you're driving at here, Barb. Is like in comics, what's too much and what's too little, and like where do you find that balance? So it's a matter of finding the balance between like giving the eye space to rest, and
Yeah.
and moving the eye around the page so that like okay, well, what's important, what's not important, and what's
I didn't
popping
even
out.
see the
and
Green
how do you-
Goblin until I
Yeah. Yeah, he's
But don't
way
forget Doc
in.
Ock is down
Yeah.
there too. Doc
Yeah,
Ock.
and he kind of disappears as well.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
so
it's
the
just-
whole
yeah.
whole right side of the whole right side of the above so the whole right side of the page above Doc Ock into the top of the page and in the top middle, like I have no idea what any of that is. It's all just gray blur.
Yeah.
Again, they're counting on the color
Mhm.
to
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Mhm.
save it.
be interesting to see how it's inked as well.
But here's the thing about
This
when
is
you
inked.
do that though.
It
Oh, that
is.
is inked.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
Oh, I thought
inked.
that was
yeah.
pencils. Oh, okay.
No.
No,
This
no.
is inked.
Oh,
And-
okay.
And the thing about it is, you can't always depend on the colorist to get it unless you get a top tier colorist on something like this. It may not work.
Mhm.
They may not be able to save it either. So,
Hmm.
because this kind of stuff is tough.
Yeah. Yes,
to-
this is very hard to color.
Yeah.
Our colorist says. Now this piece is colored, so it's very busy.
Yes.
But we can see how coloring does make a difference. But is it still too busy with the coloring, or does it
Yeah.
work?
I think it works.
I
do.
think the background shouldn't have been as saturated. It's a little too saturated. I can't, especially when I've gotten way back here. I can't tell what's going on in the street because the colors are kind of all the
You want
same
the
saturation.
background to fade.
I want to see some what they call aerial perspective, which is as things go into the distance, they get lighter and more misty and more blue, as they go into the distance, and I'd like to see some of that in the background on this. I don't see any of that. That would help the characters to pop more, and it keeps it kind of flat. But boy, is there a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, I get
when
the
I
feeling
zoom in.
I don't know the characters in this particular thing, but I get the feeling that the guy in the red shirt
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
very middle is probably the main character, and that's a
Yeah.
good way to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that in that respect it works. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
only
him,
thing that feels like it's getting lost is the airborne folks that are in the middle.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
not the ones that are on top of the
That's-
building or jumping off.
yeah.
But that
Oh, there's-
middle air folks.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of jumping
Oh
people in
my
the middle. Okay, I
God.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
You see, they get lost. Yeah.
But
and
no,
again,
this
I
isn't.
think-
But
I
this
think
is an
that could be
interesting
helped
piece.
with that aerial perspective.
But this is an interesting piece. This is one of those pieces where like, okay, you see the initial impact, but then you sit there and you're drawn in to like look at like what's all the stuff that's going on here,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
right? And then it almost becomes a puzzle at that point. Like, what's this? What's that? What's this? What's that?
But that
So-
pulls you out of the story.
It
But-
could.
Hey,
But-
but it feels
Yeah.
like the point is that there's chaos going on, and I feel like I
Yeah.
Right.
And you get that. You do
Yeah.
you do get that.
yeah, immediately you feel like, okay, well, yeah. something
And
happened.
if that's the intent, yeah, they got it.
We're talking about overly detailed panels. Do they work or don't they? We're not really drawing anything at the moment.
Yeah.
All right. Since the cat's out of the bag, anyway, you all know that I'm working on some Ultraman pieces, and I'm inking and coloring them.
Mhm.
And I had something similar to this, and how I handled it was that I used color holds in the
Yes.
back on the background inks
Yeah.
around the building, so the building started to fade.
Right.
So the buildings, everything up towards the front of the page was still dark black, but as I went back, I began to use
Again.
color holds.
That's the aerial perspective.
What
I
is
was
a
talking about.
color hold for us folks that have no idea what that is?
All right,
What
the
is a
black-
color hold?
The black inking lines, you turn them into a color. So I
Yeah.
would start with like purple color holds in the midground,
Mhm.
and then go to a light blue color hold for the
Mhm.
inks in the far back. Like the building at the very, very back there would have been a light blue color hold.
Mhm.
Right.
So
The black lines themselves would be. That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
even talking about the color
So-
inside those lines.
Okay.
It's just the black lines
Yeah, the
themselves.
inks.
That's what a color hold does.
yeah,
Is
Yeah.
it takes the black lines and turns them into a different color.
it takes your inks and turns them into a color.
Yeah.
It's
so that
it's
so that the-
alchemy.
Yeah.
It's
So-
changing
so-
one
yeah,
thing
so-
into another.
So the
so-
heavy
so-
blacks are at the front.
Yeah. So that needs to be done very judiciously
I have
and very carefully.
I have never tried that. I'm afraid I'll screw it up when I
Yeah.
try to do a color hold. So
Mm.
I have never tried that in my work.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
Can you guess who
Okay.
this is?
That looks like
Rob,
Wallace
I know
Wood.
you don't. Yes, you were right.
It's what?
Wally Wood.
Wally Wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking somebody from that era. I'd have
Uh,
to zoom in to see
Yeah.
because Wally does a lot of this kind of stuff.
Uh,
I was thinking maybe it might be Will Eisner,
No.
but
Yeah,
I,
no,
it's
I
not.
just said we weren't gonna mention names, but I just came right out and
But-
said it's
well,
Wally Wood. But
yeah,
it's so
but this-
distinctive. Everybody
No.
knows it's Wally
Yeah,
Wood.
no.
Oh yeah,
well, and
when I
he's also
zoom in, I
passed on.
see
So.
the character designs. I see that, and I can see why him inking Jack Kirby was so good because he knows
Yes.
how to get all that techno babblish stuff to get
Yeah.
that.
Does it
down.
work or doesn't it work?
No, this works.
Yeah, I think it does too. I
Uh,
like
it-
how it's. Oh, go say. I didn't mean to cut you off, Rob.
No, you're good.
I like how it's dark. I mean, it is a
Yes.
lot going on, but the fact that the dark part is on the left side with like the white stuff kind of accent, and then the opposite kind of color scheme is on the right side for the most part. Kind of helps, when you look at it. I mean, there is a lot in there,
Yeah.
but it's not so overwhelming that you can't make out what's going
Yeah,
on.
he's turned my my whole idea about black brings it forward upside down
Mhm,
in the fact that he's put the darker stuff behind the lighter stuff,
mhm.
which will sometimes push in, and if it's well done, like it is here, it pushes the lighter stuff forward. So
Yeah.
And not only
you see
that,
planes in this. There's
Mm-hmm.
planes of imagery here, and
Mhm.
that's
and not only
that's
that,
the
but
trick.
if you notice, he is slowly coming in with a point of view. So at the first panel, you're far out, and as he comes in, it creates kind of a triangle. The white
Uh-huh.
the white areas create
Right.
kind of a
Yes.
triangle.
Right. Okay, I see that. Yeah. Yeah. So here the balance of black to white and the balance of detail to no detail is very well set out.
Yeah,
So
as you mentioned
yeah.
in the previous one, there are actually places for the eye to rest.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know, you're not seeing noodling everywhere. Your eye moves across it, and it's got a place to. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's
Yes.
cool.
So
Instead
the
of
one
going,
thing that
what is all this? So
yeah. The one thing that's intriguing about him is how do I put this? He does what I call cartoon realism,
yes,
which is like so that
Mhm.
there's an element of realism, but it's still cartoonish. So it's a
Which-
very interesting like line that he's walking. So
Yeah.
and it's very
Yeah.
cool.
His
That's what
characters
made me
and stuff
think it
are
might be Will.
slightly caricaturized.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
which is what Will Eisner does too. Which is why at
Yeah.
first I thought it might be him.
yeah.
Hmm.
But there's
Yeah.
more realism. There's more realism in Wallace than in Eisner. If
Correct.
that makes
Yep.
any sense.
Mhm.
No, it makes
Right.
perfect sense to an old timer. Yeah.
Yeah. Eisner has more emotion in his stuff.
Lots going on here, but it all makes sense and it
Yeah.
works.
Yep.
It does. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hmm.
It's yeah.
It needs to be saved by
Yeah.
the colors.
Yeah.
It's on the border though. It's almost like, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see it, but yeah, it is a tad bit too much. But
Yeah,
It's a
like
tad
that
bit
one,
too
two,
much,
three.
but
The
But it
fifth
does
panel's
work,
got
though, I
too
think.
much stuff in it.
The
And
fifth,
I
you
think
think?
they could have done without so much stuff in that fifth panel.
But
Mm.
what happens when you add color? Then that's like that. Or is it supposed to
Well,
be color?
obviously
if it's not? Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know.
this is another one of those situations where the color is gonna save it from being overdone.
Mhm.
And I think that the last panel, which has more blacks in it than the rest of it,
Yeah.
and sets that figure apart, also helps.
Mhm.
But there's a lot going on, a lot of unnecessary scritchiness going on
Yeah.
here.
So this is very intriguing. So, sometimes you don't necessarily know if this is right or wrong unless you sat down and you watched the guy ink it, and then you actually like see what he did, and you're like, oh, okay, I understand. If you didn't put that in, then it wouldn't be as strong. And if you did put that, it's just like
Unfortunately, the casual reader can't
Yeah.
see them sit down and
Yeah.
watch them ink.
yeah.
The casual reader
So
gets to
so
see
you
what
get
they're-
the end result. So yeah,
Well,
too
and
much
this
detail
is
in too many panels. Yeah.
yeah, and this
Yeah.
is one of those occasions where
What?
this is cool. I'm going to do this because it's cool.
But then,
Well,
but
you know, sometimes that works, but
Sometimes
But-
less
times
is
than not,
more.
yeah.
yeah.
So, but this is
absolutely.
I hope Barb put one of the pictures that I gave her, because there's one of the pages where there's an immense amount of details in a lot of panels, but it works, right? So we'll see if she put it in
And
or
that-
not.
and
Yeah,
that-
I
and that
couldn't
does
include
happen.
everything
No, I know.
because
So let's see.
I had like 16 and you had like 16, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can only.
I know.
Right.
And I don't think that any of that was wrong. I know you mentioned right or wrong. I don't think that any of that was wrong.
No,
Right.
it wasn't
Or,
wrong
yeah.
so much, but it
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 was
wasn't
a
my
good
cup
test.
of tea.
Yeah, it
Right.
was.
Yeah, it's not clear.
Yeah.
Let's go
It-
back.
because it's old timers.
Yeah,
It's
I
not,
think it would
the
have.
storytelling needs to be clear. You need to be able
Yeah.
to at a glance see what's going on.
I
And
Yeah.
think
I
it would
can't
have.
on this page.
I think
Well,
it would
then
have
the question is, what
benefited
did
with
the writer? Go
I
ahead.
think it would have benefited with fewer lines in the vertical panels at the
Yep.
top, at least, and
Yes.
that would have
And a
brought
little more
more
blacks.
attention. That would have brought more attention to the power panel, which is the
Mhm.
last panel.
Mhm.
Yeah. So the question is, what did the writer write? Who wrote it? Who wrote it?
Yeah.
Was this the artist? Is this an artist writer, or is this someone who actually wrote the panels? And then
did the artist
and then the
even do
artist
what
is
the
like,
yeah.
yeah.
Did the artist
Again,
do what
yeah,
the
yeah.
writer
In the
wrote?
end, it doesn't matter because what we're
Right.
seeing is what the customer is going to see.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I know exactly who this is, and I have a love-hate relationship with this guy too.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I zoom in, it works, but
Yeah.
when it's at a distance, especially that bottom panel is kind of mushy. But I think the coloring will help it.
Yeah,
I know
got
who
some
this is.
crackle going on.
I zoom in.
Yeah.
I know who this is too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think a little heavier ink outlines would help this a little.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I totally appreciate the amount of detail that this individual put into his work, but I don't know if I don't know if it resonated with me, even though I had a lot of his books because I followed his run on certain books. But
Now that top,
yeah,
the top right panel pops.
Top right
yes,
panel. Nice.
yes.
Mhm. It pops nicely.
And the main character in the bottom one pops.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to and the I guess is that Wonder Woman in the bottom?
No, that's Scarlet Witch.
Okay, it's a Marvel book.
And again, color would make all the difference.
Oh sure. Yeah.
But again, I'm from the old school where it's got to work in both black and white and color.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not the worst one we've seen tonight, but
No.
It could be enhanced a little. So yeah, I think an inker with a little heavier hand might have helped this more.
It more or less works.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it works.
Oh, I actually like this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna need these. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think this is too much at all. I kind of like this one.
This is one of those pages where you have all the characters on it, so you have to make them fit without everybody getting lost. And I think this has accomplished that.
I think the guy on the left, I'm losing him, even though he's in the foreground.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I
needs a heavier line.
And the guy that's just to the right of him in the I don't know what's going those two are completely lost to me.
And you're referring to the very left, right? The guy with the mask and then the guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I can see the lady in the upper right part of the. He getting lost, but
but from a technical standpoint, I mean, the great artist. So yeah, and colors probably would help a lot.
This would have to be done in color. Yeah. For it to work.
Mm-hmm.
But and this would be another one.
I think it stands out in black and white. That's really interesting.
It's kind of like the last one we saw. It's right on the edge of not working.
Yeah. So this is really strange. This is very strange for me because my eye is drawn to the guy to the right of the guy on the left, but I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's hard to read that, isn't it?
But that's where my eye's drawn to.
My eye is drawn to the lady with the wild hair.
Because
with a lot of blacks.
Of the black.
Yeah. Because of the blacks.
Because of the black. Keep that in mind, pencilers and inkers.
This is
here we go. That's a two-page spread, isn't it?
I have inked this guy many times. Yeah, 2-page spread. Any thoughts? I think it's a good thing that the main character is mostly white.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it works.
Yeah.
I think it works. Yeah. I mean, there's that first panel on the second page is a little overworked.
Yeah.
It's got too many. It's got literally has too many bricks.
Literally has
On-
too many bricks. Yeah.
Literally has too many bricks
Well,
on that wall. You don't
I
need
have
to
to-
draw every single damn brick.
Oh, I
brick
didn't
on
even
the
have
realize
to
there was
tell
a
you from
person on the ground in the first panel.
I have to tell you from personal experience that this person loves their detail.
Yeah.
But it does
my
it
glasses
does
don't
work.
help.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
works.
This is not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, this works.
Yeah.
It works. It
And
There's a
again,
fair amount of detail, but
you don't
got
need that. You didn't need that much detail in the background, but it works.
Right.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I would color hold the background.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
big time.
Absolutely color hold the background, and that
Yeah.
way the figures in the front would pop
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
all the black.
Okay. Yeah,
but
that would work.
yeah. So, but this works because of the contrast of the contrast of the consistency of the background versus the big shapes in the foreground, and then you have places where your eyes can rest.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus,
yeah.
you've got the hard lines, hard, right
With the
angle
organic.
lines,
With the
and
organic.
the organic which jumps toward you. Yeah, that contrast works as well.
Absolutely, I would put them in stark relief with the the black lines and everything, and I would set the entire background in probably a dark purple, just enough to set it apart from the black,
Mhm.
to make the black pop on the inks on the characters, the foreground.
I would agree. That'd be the way to do it.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, those
This
first two panels. My goodness.
They work.
Right.
though.
But this works because
Yeah.
because
It does.
You've got the white space popping off the detail.
Yeah.
And,
They did every single screen on that second panel. I would
Wow.
not have wanted to ink
That's-
that. Oh
that's-
my god!
I would do that as paste overs. Man. Yeah, that's
Yep.
gee, many Christmas.
But they've got a nice line on the foreground characters.
Mhm.
hmm
You notice the
So-
lines are a little simpler and heavier on the foreground characters.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
yeah. And again, it's organic versus right angles,
Yeah.
Mhm.
geometric.
That's
So,
true. That's
yeah,
true.
again, it works because of that. And the images on the screens, that's very light, not very heavy inking at all. It's light lines. So thin lines, very thin lines.
Mhm.
So it works
Yeah.
that way.
Kaz, do you agree?
Yeah. I think it works. I said that when it first popped up. I thought it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh,
That's intense.
I do that every time those pop up. Ooh,
Yeah,
Ay.
word.
if the debris
Oh,
wasn't
my
there, like
word.
if all the flying debris wasn't there, it would
So-
really be good.
Yeah.
When I look at this, it's RoboCop versus
T1
Terminator?
Terminator. Yeah,
It's
and
like
I look at it and I go, "What the hell is going on here?"
But
Yeah.
if the flying debris wasn't there,
Uh,
and they made them darker. I mean, obviously the line,
And this is another color hold
yeah.
to make the characters pop. But oh my,
That is insane.
Yeah.
yeah.
that one doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Well, there'll be people who appreciate this for what it is.
Oh,
and
sure, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I
so-
think it needs more black.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, that
absolutely.
there's too many noodling gray shares.
But is this still
Some of
pencils
those
or
should
is
be
this
black.
inked?
No, that's inked.
That's
Yeah.
inked?
Oh wow.
Okay, it's very
Yeah.
gray for inks.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
okay.
Well, I had to scrape it off the internet, so Um,
There is a lot of
yeah,
detail in there.
it would have definitely benefited from some heavy blacks.
Yeah.
Especially on those buildings in the background. That would have. And there's this area down toward the right here, that fan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's got some black in it, but even more would have helped even more.
Yeah. Well, it'd be
So,
interesting to see
yeah,
this
it
one in
just
color
needs-
as well.
Yeah,
So-
I think it might work okay in color.
Yeah.
But boy,
And
black
I
and
think
white.
I've seen these. I think I've seen these in color though. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure
I
the color
only,
helped.
yeah, it takes a really skilled colorist
Yeah,
to
yeah,
pull something like that off.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's beyond me. I've only been coloring for 6 years, and that's
Mm.
beyond
Yeah.
me.
This would be a very difficult piece to color.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right up front.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no. Sorry, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. I do see the lizard though, shooting stuff out.
Yeah, yeah. Because he's got some blue in him against that red background, red that warm color background, yellow and red.
Hmm.
So that makes him pop. But yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, the coloring
There's
didn't
several
help here.
lizards in there. Oh,
Yeah, the coloring did not help here. It's all it's too vibrant. It's too much. It's too saturated.
yeah.
Some
That's a
areas a
good word
little less
for it.
saturated would be would help this a lot.
Mm.
Good. Ooh.
I'm actually going to go through these a lot faster than I thought, Martin. So if I get to the end and you've got some I haven't shown of yours, then
yeah.
throw them up. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. There's some black in this one, so that immediately.
Oh, this is getting lost though, right? Can you tell what's going on in the bottom? Oh, that's
No.
actually two
No.
panels. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
There's
There's a diagonal line there in between, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of disappears. Again, this is a coloring.
Yeah, this would.
Well, there's actually
3. Isn't that like
3? Actually,
there's
1,
3
2,
panels, 3 or 4
There's
panels on the
4
top.
panels.
5, yeah, there's
4 on the bottom, besides the 2 that are there? Like 1, 2.
Yeah.
I think
1, 2,
there's
3.
3 on the top,
Yeah.
1 on the bottom, right? Or am
No.
I? No, there's 5.
Oh, the
there's
bottom has 1, 2.
Has
tiny little one in the corner.
The 2 insets.
Yeah,
Is
there's
there
a third? Is there a third panel on the left?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
it's 5 panels
more like-
right on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's
Says
2 little
3.
insets
Yeah.
there.
And then
Yeah.
the 2 insets.
All right. Rule of insets. From an inker's perspective, you either have to have a double line so it's white around it, or you have to have a very thick black line to set your insets apart from everything else.
Yep.
That didn't happen here. I didn't even know that there were 2 insets until you guys mentioned it because they got lost.
They do have a little bit heavier line, but it's it's not quite enough. It needed a little more. Or what would have been better is 2 lines with a white in between it to help
white
it
gutter.
pop.
Yeah.
A
Double-
white
After
gutter.
after the
line
show,
with
I
a
want
white
you to
gutter.
tell me who this is because I got to go look this up because this is just crazy. I got to see what it is.
All right.
Yeah, again, this is absolutely done for color. You could not do this in a black and white book. It would not work. No. I mean, you could do it, but I don't think it works. Now, I saw this one earlier. This is incredible.
Yeah, this
and
is
it works.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I'm going, look at but the characters pop. I see them. I see what's going on.
Is that Berserk? Is that Guts down there?
This is a manga.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now the fact that it's so small on the screen kind of diminishes it. If you were to see it
that's
larger,
why
you
I
can
go
see
in
that
and-
it.
I go in and blow it up. It looks much better.
So the balance of the details is this actually really works. Balance of the high details compared to so you see the whites and then the like the character on the right side, they have space in their gray, so there's places for your eyes to rest, and then they kind of do more detail in certain areas and less detail in other areas, even though it's still highly detailed. So your eye kind of travels around and is able to rest, and it's excellent composition as well. So
I mean, how long would this have taken to draw? There is
forever.
Well, if it's a manga, it probably has a team doing it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they'll do them in teams.
They have background artists
Uh-huh.
and all kinds of other help. Yeah.
Still would have taken forever.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
All right. My last one, Martin may have some more because we've got another 10 minutes to go. But my last one is, to me, the epitome of doing it right. And it's from one of my very best friends in the entire world.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I saw this in the lineup. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. This one works.
Even the way that he positions the heavy beam on the right hand side points down towards the two characters. Even the setup, even though that there's all this detail going on, everything manages to bring your attention to
this is genius work. This is genius level work. Yeah.
So your eye ends up resting on the right side where the characters are.
Mm-hmm.
There's just enough detail removed so that you end up having something to have your eye gravitate to, and then there's all this other detail that's peppered throughout, which
and
is
it's
then
telling a story. This tells a story.
Yeah, every line has a meaning. So
he even has the ulna on the guys, on the skeleton on the table. He's got his one leg chopped off. He's even has the ulna sticking out.
Yeah.
The knee. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, like I said, this is genius level work. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. This is the epitome of being detailed and having it right, getting it all right. Even with the little white space, which I think is supposed to be like steam rising or something like that, right between their faces. Just the right spots. There's a couple of spaces in there where he's got steam rising from bubbling stuff, and it's right between their faces, which just your eye just zeroes in.
Well, you start with that black area up on the left, and then you work. It pulls you across to the faces, and you go, oh, and then you just kind of wander about the rest of it, looking at all the little details that tell you the story of what's going on here. So it's this is, like I said, this is genius level work.
I agree. All right, you're right. You ready, Martin?
All right. I had several pages, but I think I'll show two.
Okay.
So it'll take me a second here. I just got to get set up. I thought you had took my images and put them into your presentation.
And
so
I did. I took some of them.
Oh, did you? Okay.
This is where the tap dancers come out.
Sorry. All right. So I'm going to add one more page. So, all right. Let's see. File, import.
Yeah, Bernie used to compliment my work.
Yeah.
Good God.
Okay.
That was like a gift from,
Yeah, exactly. I was told Bernie liked my work too, and I went. I didn't see how, but
All right. Let's see here. Okay.
I incorporated some of your stuff in mine, but I thought 16 would get us through the hour, and it
didn't
quite.
All right. Let's see here. Whoops. Let's see if I can get this up and running here. Present.
Well, I think what happened is we saw something and we went, oh yeah, that does not work. Please take that off the screen.
Is this the right thing? No, that's not the right thing. I want this one. Is that? There we go. All right. So here we go. Okay. And add to stage. Okay. So this was the highly detailed page that I wanted to show off.
Yeah.
But it works.
It works.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and do you know why? Because there's a lot of blacks in it, or dark
colors.
Yeah.
So this really works. There's lots of detail happening, but you got dark and light in places for your eyes to rest.
Or is it inked?
I think it's inked. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's inked.
It looks inked.
It's hard to tell.
Okay. It's
a little. It is a little gray. It is a little gray.
Some of the black isn't a full black, which is that's fine. That works. So, I mean, when you print it turns the contrast gets turned up.
Oh,
and
those
it works.
beautiful shadows.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Beautiful shadows.
yeah, all that. Ooh, that's nice stuff.
So you can see here that there's like, okay, so
Yeah,
you
the
know,
detail
there's
helps.
detail,
the
but then you've got
storytelling
like, okay, you got spaces where your eyes can rest, and then you got like
here. Mhm.
big spaces, small spaces, and then you got the rendering in the right places. All right, and then the other one I wanted to show you, which was kind of interesting, was this one here.
Oh yeah.
What the hell?
So this is what you're
Oh,
probably
Predator.
looking for.
Oh
Yeah,
right?
but it's like where's
Waldo.
Where's Waldo?
Waldo? Yeah.
And then there's
Yeah, there's
like,
guys in there.
My
Yeah.
God, there's guys in there. They need more
So
blacks.
there's a woman, there's a guy, there's a guy, there's a guy. So like, yeah, so I wanted to show this because this is like what is
Beautifully,
But this is
beautifully
intentional.
laid out.
That's
Yeah.
intentional for it to be lost, right? That's the
yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
I think,
But-
I think so. But
but,
still,
like, so whoever is the artist on this, kudos to you for wow.
Those
Like,
leaves. I mean, God.
Good night. I hope whoever paid you for this comic page paid you lots of money, because that's insane. Like,
Definitely has
the
the Where's
amount-
Waldo vibes, though.
Mhm.
the amount of detail in this is absolutely ludicrous. So does this work? Does this page
not
work?
completely. Not completely.
But-
I would argue if the
But is that the intent?
if the point of it was to cloak the predator, show
Uh-huh.
camouflage troops going through the jungle, then I think I mean I would have to, but I mean I would want to see it in the context of the whole book, right? Like
Yeah.
is this
So, but like,
If this is
man,
done in kind of pastel colors, no bright colors, no heavy color at all, just kind of pastels, light colors. Man, that would be a gorgeous page.
yeah.
Yeah, that could be. A colorist could go nuts on this page.
If I had any critique at all, you see the wrist of the predator. It's got just a little bit of black up there, which draws the eye. I would have put just a touch of black on the human somewhere, so
Right.
that you could
Yeah,
you could
right,
find
yeah.
them.
the weapon,
Right.
the chest,
or maybe some of the foliage behind them.
Just enough to be that you could be able to pick them out, because I can't see them at all from my angle because it's too small on my screen, but I
Yeah.
can see the predator because I can see that black wristband.
Mhm.
Yeah, that pulls you into him, and he's got a little bit heavier line on him too. But it's that black, and
That
there's a
one-
little bit on the characters, but not. It just needs a touch more. But
Yeah.
I think, if with really good coloring, this page would just be gorgeous and work perfectly.
It would make a great poster.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh man. Yeah. Where's Waldo? Definitely.
Do you want me to pull up one more?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
We still got a couple of minutes.
All
here.
right.
Yeah.
Here, let me pull up one more image. Let's see what we think about this one here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, that
Mark
wasn't the one I
Schultz.
want.
I was gonna say that's
Yeah.
not
That's
that's not too bad.
Cadillac dinosaurs and Cadillacs, or Cadillacs and
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy is insane on the details, like absolutely insane. But everything is readable, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. He's got a lot of
Another genius
influence.
level.
Yeah, he's got a lot of influence from Bernie. He
Yeah.
was
Did he work with Bernie? I'm trying to think. Didn't he work with him for a while in the same studio or something? I'm thinking they were in the same studio for a while.
They could have
Yeah,
been.
yeah.
They could have been.
I don't know that for a fact, but you can see the Bernie writes and influence in
Oh
some
yeah,
of the
big time.
inking work does here. But man, this he was meticulous with his work.
Mhm.
Just if there was a line off, he'd go in and white it out and start over. From what I heard.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's genius level work again. And just the little touches of the flying dinosaurs in the background.
Yeah,
Those are just like little, this little salt.
little pterodactyls. Oh, we know who this is.
Yeah, this one's obvious who this is. And this is Yeah, I hate to use that word again so quickly, but yeah, another genius.
Yeah.
And when we say
to-
bricks, he uses the bricks as the it's negative space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I brought this up because he does the balance of like too much stuff and almost nothing, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, so and then it ends up balancing itself out. So he's like, what? So it's like, okay. So
Well,
anyways,
he's a master of negative space for one thing.
Yes.
A master of
Yeah.
noir.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd
Yeah.
throw that in there as well. Yeah. So
When that first panel is every single brick, every single one of them is drawn,
brick.
and in the second panel, the ones in the shade are drawn,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and the negative space in between them defines where they are. So it's Plus, it helps define the shape of the character.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that kind of
Right.
work from
so
Miller
I
is just
so
incredible,
just to show like the difference between like this and this, right? Like the contrast is huge as to like what you're looking at.
But both of them work.
But both of them work for the different reasons. So yeah, so
You
when
can
creating,
be detailed.
Yep. So when creating your comic art, the idea is if you want to use detail, just give places for people's eyes to rest and have that space to breathe. So that
And don't be afraid of your blacks.
yes,
Blacks are your friends.
yep.
So
Wally Wood said, "When in doubt,
Black it out."
Yes, Taz. I know that was terrible, but
I missed it.
That's an interesting way to say that. But
yeah, Wally.
Okay.
Yes, as Wally Wood said, when in doubt, black it out. That's right.
So yeah,
you just got it, didn't you, Mark?
No, I know. I walked. I stuck my foot in my mouth.
And I find it very ironic that you have bricks behind you.
She did that on purpose. Totally did that on purpose.
A subtle bit there.
Yeah. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I think the one of the most successful layouts we did see was the Wally Wood one. Because he had such a good balance between the blacks and the whites and the detail versus the not detail.
The noodling that makes it gray.
Yeah.
And I think he was one of those old school guys that it needs to work in black and white before it can work in color.
Yeah.
That would have made a great soundbite on TV. I'm sure.
So really, and I think the more successful pages also had really good composition.
Yeah.
So when you have really strong composition, you can knock out all sorts of detail because the composition is strong. So like work out your pages, work out the balance of like, okay, I'm gonna have the big stuff here, I'm gonna have the small stuff there, I'm gonna have the
that's why I think tiny little thumbnails. I do my thumbnails that big.
Yeah.
It helps you spot blacks. It helps you see the major shapes. And then you can come in and fill in the little details if necessary. But
and don't forget too that now I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry. I yammered on, didn't I?
Yes, and you threw my brain right out the window.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well,
I tend to do that.
Go ahead, Barb.
Nope, went out of my head again.
Okay, yeah. I was also going to say detail is cool. Detail is cool, but you also have to consider deadlines too, right? So like,
establishing shot. That's what I was trying to say.
Establishing shot. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that's another thing. Yeah. So in Japanese comics, what they always do a lot of the time is the establishing shot. They put all sorts of detail in that, right? And then what happens is your brain takes in all the detail in the establishing shot, and then the rest of the book there's no detail at all because your brain fills in the detail that was stuck in the first picture, right? You're like, oh, it was such a detailed book, and then you go and look at it, and you're like, there's no detail in here at all, but it's because they established that original shot. Then you bring all this detail with you.
So you don't have to put detail in every single panel.
No.
Because you've done an establishing shot.
Yeah. Do it as a highlight.
Yeah. It's hell getting old, folks.
And if you're a lot of times if you put some certain details in that establishing shot, say it's a room, and you have certain details in certain places in the room, and people walk around that room, show them standing next to that. Just use one item from the detail from the background to show that that's where they are in the room. So that's a storytelling trick you can use. Be detailed in that establishing shot, but remember where all these little details are, so that when the characters move around, you can keep those details in the proper space next to them. It helps, the reader may not realize it, but it
establishes credibility across the board.
It does. It really does. And you don't need to put a lot of detail in after that first big establishing panel.
Well, I think we did pretty well for our hour on bricks. Talking about bricks.
Too many bricks.
So let's remind everyone: there's the Silverline. GoFundMe comic.
Still has how many days left?
It has
18.
It has quite a few days left, and there's all sorts of. It's Cat and Mouse Vipers issue 1. So that's it's continuing. Gorgeous. It's continuing from the previous series, and if you're missed out on the previous series, you can pick up any of those issues as well, as I think any other Silverline books.
Yeah, Twilight Grimm's in there. All the other books that we've done are right in there.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
I am the worst public speaker in the history of the world.
So can I promote next week?
Yeah, absolutely.
So next week, folks, we're gonna do comics as parody. And we want you guys to come in, and if I don't know how we can do this, but like if you guys can do parodies of Silverline characters and come up with parody concepts of Silverline books, please bring them to the table next week somehow. I don't know if people can give us submissions through Facebook or something. If anyone out there is interested, please do. But join us next week and then bring your parody ideas. Because I'm going to have a bunch that we're going to go through of our own stuff. We're going to poke fun at our own titles and rib ourselves a little bit. I think it'll be fun. But then we'll also talk about other parody stuff like maybe Mad Magazine and Cracked and other things that were in that parody.
Super Duper Man.
Parody world. And see if we can find some more modern parody stuff that exists. There is, I think, one that I've seen on Indie Planet called Night Wasp, which is absolutely hilarious. I think it's a take on Batman, and he fights a giant chicken. It's like so it's very funny.
That's
so
the thing about comics. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. So we will. Yeah. We will talk about that kind of stuff next week. So bring your funny bone next week, and we will have hopefully some good belly laughs.
April's going to be a crazy month for me, but it looks like I'm free next Wednesday, so I'll be here.
Okay.
All right.
Unless something else comes up. But,
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. And as we like to say when we cut out every night,
make mine
Silverline.
Hi, I'm Greg Horn. Make mine Silverline.